Hello Aries, and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for all Aries out there. Aries, Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising, and I'm also being told to say cusp Aries as well. So if you're a cusp Aries, either the end of Pisces going into Aries or the end of Aries going into Taurus, then you might want to check out your sign previously, like the Pisces reading, or also the Taurus reading that comes after your sign as well. For those of you who don't know your placements, there is going to be a free link in the description box down below so that you can go and check out your astrology for yourself. Maybe also see the bigger picture of what's going on natally as to what's happening with the planets as well. But if you're just wanting to find out where your moon, your Venus, your rising signs are, then that's a great way to do it as well. As long as you know what time you were born, then you can get your rising sign. Otherwise it can be a little bit difficult. So Aries, I haven't been doing your readings, it seems like, for an age now. It seems like I've been kind of caught up with lots of other things that I've been doing as well. So I will apologise to you for not having done a reading for yourselves for a while. And also for you cross watchers out there, this reading is just a general reading. Well, for all of you, for Aries, it's a general reading. But also for you cross watchers, I just want you to know that this could be your story rather than the Aries that you are watching it for. Whether you're with an Aries, whether you want to be with an Aries, or whether you have been with an Aries, this story could be your story rather than the story of the Aries themselves. So just be aware that the energies can be changed. So the started your reading today, Aries, with this Major Arcana card, which is interesting. It has a bit of a story behind it, because when I was going through and separating this Major Arcana from the Minor Arcana, because I used these cards in my new moon video that I did the other day, which is up on the channel if you're interested in going and checking it out. There's a new moon in Gemini video there for you. So this card got kind of mixed up with the other cards, and I knew there was a card missing. I counted them to make sure that all the Major Arcana cards were there, as I always do, and there was only 21, and I'm thinking, where is that other card? And then I realised that it was also the Magician card that was missing. I managed to find it, I put it back in the deck, and this was the card that came out. So I just thought it was quite interesting that this was the card that had vanished. And this is also the card of, for me, the Mercurial Gemini energy as well. This is the manifestation energy. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you will know that I have been kind of going over the same thing about this manifestation energy, which I feel is absolutely huge in our lives at this moment in time. And that we really need to realise that we are kind of creating not only our day-to-day life, but also a longer term picture as well, collectively and individually. That it's like this energy, because we have so much in Gemini. We have just had the Sun, the Moon, Mercury and Venus all in Gemini, along with the North Node as well. And the North Node of the Moon is going to be there for the next 18 months. So Aries, this energy is very strong in this reading. It's the overall kind of energy for yourselves at this time, and it says that there is the ability here for you to manifest something great into your life, because this is a Major Arcana card. This is a long-lasting energy of manifestation. And like I was saying, he was missing and then he kind of turned back up, I feel, for your reading, which is quite interesting. So for me, the manifestation is all about these elements. It's all about bringing in the elements and kind of understanding the elements as well. So in order to manifest something, it starts with a thought. We have an idea, a thought, which we then can then become like an emotion That thought gives us an emotion, it gives us a feeling, it becomes charged, it becomes something that we either dismiss, or it's something that we think, oh yes, you know, that's a fantastic idea, I think I would really like to do something about that. And depending on the amount of emotion that it kind of charges within us will also depend on the amount of creative drive and passion that we will then have towards it, and how much we actually want to feed it and grow it and kind of make it become real. And when we have all these elements here, these three elements working together, we can then bring it into this physical realm, which is this pentacle down here as well. So it's all about bringing it into the physical realm. What we manifest, we bring it into the physical realm, and it all depends on our thought process to start with. And it works both ways, and I have talked about this in previous videos as well, that manifestation, we can also manifest things that we don't want, because we can focus our attention on not wanting something to the point where we don't want it so much that we are feeding that same thought process, and therefore it will manifest itself, but it will manifest in a way that we don't want it. But it is because we are feeding it. We are putting that same emotion and passion into not having something as much as we can do the opposite as well. And that is the Gemini energy as well, the dualistic energy. Gemini is the twins. It is the dual energy. It's the positive and it's the negative. It's the black, the white, the right, the wrong, the good, the bad. It's like all those dualistic things is represented by Gemini, and also Mercury, because Mercury is the messenger of the gods, and he's very quick moving, quick thinking. It is the mind, it is the thinking, logical processes, communication. So Gemini is going to be a big energy around for quite some time over the next 18 months. And for you, Aries, it seems to be something that's going to be quite strongly in your chart, or in your, you may have Gemini strongly in your charts as well. You may, if you go and check out your charts, you may find that you have quite strong placements of Gemini. Okay, so, and just because you've got a sun in Aries, it doesn't mean that that's your only character, that you're just an Aries. You also will have the planets everywhere in other signs. So there's a lot of other things to take into account as well. But also this is very much kind of air energy. The Gemini magician energy is kind of like bringing something out of the kind of the unknown realm in a way, and making it manifest in the physical. So at the heart of your reading today, Aries, we have the King of Fire, and this represents your own energy, the fire energy of Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. And being in reverse, it's kind of saying to me that there is a situation here where you're not feeling as though you have your, like your diamond, I can't even say the word, your dynamic kind of approach to life. It's kind of feeling to me as though this is saying that, because we also have Mars, I will just say we have Mars in Pisces as well at this moment in time. So your energy may be feeling on a real kind of low ebb at this time, Mars being the ruler of Aries. But that's what I'm kind of picking up, this lack of enthusiasm or dynamic energy, your usual kind of get up and go and kind of confidence and kind of a feeling that you can do things. And this kind of saying to me at this moment in time, you're feeling as though it's all on a bit of a lull, it's all a bit low, it's all a bit like kind of maybe also that you've tried to create something for yourself by using your, because of the Magician energy here as well, you may have tried to create something in the past that hasn't worked out well for you. The King of Fire here is literally holding his heart in his hands. And the sun is behind his head. And it's an older, wiser looking energy as well. This guy here reminds me of a kind of teacher or a guru, somebody who's got a lot of wisdom. But because it's in reverse, there's a feeling here that you haven't, or you can't quite get hold of it. You can't quite put your fingers on it. You can't quite maybe even feel it at this moment in time. You're kind of feeling, I just keep getting this feeling that your fire and your passion and your drive is just kind of bleh. It just feels like there's just nothing. You just feel like you've lost all your lust for life in many ways, which Aries often have this kind of real driven, passionate kind of fun side of them as well. They want to kind of, you know, enjoy. And curiosity as well. And maybe there's also a lack of curiosity there as well. But it's over the top of this, we have the 5 of air. Now the 5s are always about adversity. The number 5 is always about things being difficult. A feeling of a high flying kind of energy here, and it's your challenge and your crossing energy. So it's almost like what's stopping you, it's what's holding you back. And it does feel like this is the high flying energy, that you've been up high, you've been kind of, because she's walking on a tightrope here. So I get this feeling that you've kind of been up high, you've kind of been feeling like that you were kind of riding the waves, or kind of, you know, elevated above everything else, and kind of in a situation of, I wouldn't say superiority, but in a situation of where you kind of had reached a certain height, maybe in your career. But now, I just get the feeling that somehow it's just kind of all, it could also be a relationship as well. I'm not going to say that it isn't a relationship, but there's been this sense of feeling on top of things, like on top of the world. But it's kind of changed. Something's changed. Something's changed, and now you're feeling in this kind of stuck position of not knowing where to step next. And trying to kind of maintain that balance as well, trying to kind of maintain that, I would say, that feeling as well, that kind of elevated feeling, kind of trying to kind of stay above everything, but your energy is just dragging you down here, I feel. And you also have in your head, and what you're aware of at this time, Aries, is the 7 of fire. And I'm feeling like this is you on this edge, on this precipice. And it's again in reverse. And so it's almost like you don't know how you got here, but it kind of has a similar energy for me here. And it does feel like everything was up and running and going really well, and everything was kind of, you were riding high with it, and you were kind of enjoying life and enthusiastic, and then it just suddenly shifted. Something just suddenly changed, and it just suddenly shifted. And these little fireflies for me today, because it's in reverse, I feel as though these are kind of your doubts and your fears. It's almost like things that are kind of nagging at you, or kind of almost tipping you over that edge. Almost like something that's going to kind of sting your bum. It's like, you know, if a horse gets its bum stung, it just kind of leaps forward. It kind of has no thinking process in that. It's just like an instant reaction. It just does it. And that's kind of the energy that I'm feeling that you've got in your head at this moment in time, that it's not going to take a lot for you to lose that balance, and that you need to be very careful of your thought process here, Aries. And that you need to also somehow be careful of how you bring yourself back down from that height as well. Like, you can't just leap off this edge here, it's too dangerous. You need to somehow maybe plan something. Something needs to be thought through here. Something needs to be, because this is adversity. And this is fire. This is creation. This is passion and drive. But again, in reverse, I'm just feeling as though it's a kind of feeling of almost like you've run out of that. You kind of feel as though you've got nothing left. You're right on this precipice here. And the card that's been around for a while, and the energy that you've been working with, and again probably working against you, because it's the 5 of Earth, again it's another 5, it's adversity, is this feeling of wanting to stay Actually, I don't get so much the feeling of wanting to stay hidden, and I feel that this energy here as well. It's almost like you wanted to be seen, you wanted to be acknowledged, you wanted to be out there in the limelight, on the kind of stage of life, if you like, and kind of looking for success and that you were kind of quite willing to go to the top, as high as you could go, as kind of like, you know, as scary as that may have been. But what's actually happened here is you've ended up in this energy here of being, I don't think ignored is the right word here. I don't think it's a case of being ignored. I think it's more a case of you being, I feel let down. Let down by something. Something that you were hoping was going to take you further has kind of halted you in your tracks. As though now you're feeling, this is what I'm talking about, this kind of despondent energy, this energy of being flat, of quite lifeless, of quite kind of wanting to blend into the background now even. Maybe even feeling as though you've kind of fallen flat on your face somehow. Some of you Aries out there may be feeling that you've kind of been made to feel like you just want to blend, you just want to like disappear. Something has happened and it's made you feel quite awkward or difficult, or I don't want to say stupid, but there's kind of that energy about it, that something that you really thought was going to go one way has kind of something has changed. Something's changed within this dynamic here. And we have below you the 2 of fire and the 8 of earth. So this is the subconscious realm. This is the realm of things that you're not so aware of. This is the energy that's in your head, and you can kind of see this or feel this or know this. But this is the deeper energy that you may be feeling, but you're not necessarily aware that it's not consciously aware. You're not consciously aware of this. It's more on a deeper kind of feeling or a knowing of something. And with the 2 of fire here, both of these cards being in reverse, again, it's saying to me that something hasn't worked out the way that you wanted it to. The 2 of fire often talks of a situation of like an idea, an inspiration, something that's come in. It's kind of, you put your thought into it, you've put your energy into it. You've started, with this card here, you have started to kind of tentatively make plans or make steps about something. Again, it could be a business rather than a relationship that we're talking about here, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be a relationship. It could also relate to friends, it could relate to family, but I'm getting a kind of overall feeling of some kind of business situation here. That you yeah, something that kind of got you fired up, it got you kind of enthusiastic and really wanting to put your time and your energy and your effort and your love and passion into it. But because it's in reverse, I feel as though it's something that's kind of not been allowed to kind of reach a successful conclusion. And with the 8 here as well, this is another reason why it feels like a business situation. That doesn't mean that it isn't about a relationship and working, because you do have to work on relationships as well, just as much as we work on a relationship or on ourselves or friendships. But I kind of get this feeling today that this is about a business that was in the process of turning into something bigger. But now, because of everything that's going on, I feel as though it's kind of fallen by the wayside somehow. And you have, because of that, Aries, you've kind of lost a lot of enthusiasm about this. And I think that's what this King of Fire here is saying as well, in reverse. That you're feeling kind of depleted. Your energy's depleted. And you're not sure what's happening next, where it's going. I also feel as though you don't really feel as though you've even got the energy to put into it anymore. The energy, the enthusiasm, the time, it's like it's all just, it just feels like it's too much. And you have the 10 of Wands here, or the 10 of Fire. which for me is an ending card. And again, it's in reverse. So it's kind of saying to me that this is an energy that's moving in. And the tens always kind of denote an ending of something, like something has reached its conclusion. And it's something that you are going to feel as though, I feel that you're going to, that you need answers. You're going to need answers. You're going to keep questioning. You're going to keep, this is going to go round and round and round in your head. Quite a lot, Aries. I feel as though it's something you're not going to drop easily because it's in reverse. Had you been up the other way, I would have said that you would have kind of put it to rest. It might have taken a bit of time, but with the in reverse, I feel as though this is something that you are going to it's almost like a dog with a bone energy that I'm getting here. Like, you know, it's just going to keep gnawing at you. It's just something that you're going to have to keep going over. Keep going over because you want... Because the actual card here is a picture of all these pages that are in flames. And she's kind of grabbing at them and trying to find answers, seeking answers. But it's like they're in flames because it's done. It's kind of done its time. It's like the creative process has done what it's meant to do. But I feel because it didn't necessarily reach a conclusion as such, like there wasn't a final outcome, there wasn't a kind of a successful ending, if you like, that you didn't actually take it to the point that you wanted to take it. So for you, Aries, it feels as though it hasn't concluded and you're kind of going to keep on trying to find a way of maybe even bringing it back to life as well, Aries. There may be a sense of that as well, that you want to bring it back to life, or you're determined to bring it back to life. So I'm going to pull some more cards and do some clarifying on this reading. I have just powdered my cards, by the way. A tip for anybody who reads cards or plays a lot of cards. And if your cards get really old, like these cards are old, but I love them so much I don't want to stop using them, that you can use powder to kind of separate them, because they get kind of sweaty and kind of from constantly being held and shuffled. And so if they get to the stage where they're kind of all sticking together, a good thing to do is to get some powder on your hands and just shuffle with them quite a bit, and you'll find that they will become a lot more fluid in their shuffling. Okay, we have the Three of Swords in reverse here. So this is a painful situation, and I think this is what I was picking up with this king here. Like, this is a painful situation. This is a really deflating situation, as I was saying. This is something where you're feeling really low, a really low ebb here. It doesn't feel at all joyful, and you've got the Eight of Cups here as well. So this is like a mourning process. Both of these cards are saying that it's almost like you're going into a mourning process here, Aries. That you are kind of going down into the depths of your emotions and your feelings and your Your memories is what I'm getting here. Your memories, going into the depths of your memories. And I do hate to say it again, but Mars is in Pisces, and that is very much a surrendering, let go. It's 12th house. You have to let go. You have to surrender, even if you don't want to. So you may be feeling this energy a lot at this time, Aries, this as Mars progresses through Pisces. It's going to be there for 5 weeks, or 5 more weeks. I think 6 weeks in all. I think it's been there about just over a week now. So just under 5 weeks left before it moves back into your own sign. So it's the final process, and also it's the end of a 2-year cycle, because Mars takes 2 years to go right the way around the zodiac. So you could really be feeling this ending, this kind of having to really go within and kind of finish off a process that you may feel isn't the right time to finish. But astrologically, if you like, what is happening with your ruling planet, Mars, it is all about, like I say, it's all about surrender, it's all about letting go, it's all about releasing. And that's very much what these 2 cards are saying for me here, particularly this 3 here, because this is about a situation of suddenly kind of realizing that things weren't as you thought they were, especially when it's in reverse. It's like living a lie, or living in a kind of make-believe world, something that you thought it was one way, but it's turned out to be another way. And there is a cathartic, there is a healing process that's going on here, because it's like seeing through something. It's like all of a sudden you see things a lot clearer, you see the truth of it, rather than how you wanted it to be or you thought it was. So as painful as this situation is, and I know it's painful, it is also at the same time a healing process going on here. You may not at this time, Aries, be able to connect with that energy. You may not resonate with that. You may think that at this time that is not what's happening. But you've also got this King of Cups. It's very emotional, sensitive. This is kind of, for me, this is the Pisces energy in many ways, because this is water energy of Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. So this could really be relating to you having to kind of really look into your emotional history, maybe for the last 2 years as well, to kind of really look back over these last 2 years and see where and how. Maybe that's also what this is about as well, is kind of looking back and kind of looking over things, going into things deeper. With this card here as well, this 8 of Cups, it's not just about walking away. These are the emotional situations, they're all stacked up, and it's not just that you're going to walk away and leave them. It's like you have to go through this kind of process of kind of going down into the depths of your own emotions here. Because these are all very emotional cards. And being a sign of fire, you don't necessarily relate easily to emotions as well, Aries. I'm not saying you're not emotional, I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying that when it comes to actually like going deeper within yourself, you also have Chiron in your sign at this moment in time, Aries, as well. And Chiron is the wounded healer, and it's the healer of a lot of past lifetime things as well, like things generationally, as well as things that have happened within your own life as well. So it's about healing things from your own, like your childhood, because Mars does also represent the younger energy. Our needs are very much a Mars energy. So there's a deep, I feel, emotional trauma behind this, because also you have the King of Wands here, and the King of Wands is your own energy. You can see he's got the ram on his chair here, and the Aries ram in the background there as well. It's also the energy of Leo, Sagittarius, but it is a very adventurous energy. It's that fire, that passion that I was talking about earlier, that drive, that get up and go, that like really wanting to explore and experience, and just kind of really being driven by desire and a need to just experience. I think experience is coming through more than anything else here, but because it's in reverse, and because it's with this 7 here, which is like this standing on this precipice, I just get this feeling of maybe you just went, or almost went, a step too far here. Not far, a step too far. That something just has kind of stopped you at this point here. Very charismatic, very magnetic, very kind of, you know, it's the energy of somebody who kind of attracts attention without even kind of trying to do so. But they can also be somebody who is so kind of, because again it's very Aries energy, it can be somebody who kind of is not able to see consequences, so they would just keep going and going without actually looking for the warning signs or noticing the warning signs when they come up. And that could also be this energy here, this warning sign of like you're right on the edge of something here. And if you look at this energy here as well, this giraffe is kind of walking, I'll turn it up that way, it's walking towards the edge here, and he's trusting this person sitting here on the back of this giraffe, but she is completely oblivious. She's just really down and kind of just, she has no energy, she has no kind of vitality about her. She just looks completely despondent to me in this energy, this card here, completely despondent. And so there could be a sense of that you have missed the warning signs because you've been really headstrong here, Aries. There could be a sense of having kind of been driven by your head and not kind of taken any notice of your heart here as well. Not listening to your emotions, which is also this energy here as well, this king in reverse. Both of them in reverse. In fact, all 3 of these kings are in reverse. And you've got the King of Fire, King of Wands twice. So I would say, Aries, that there has been a situation where you have been incredibly headstrong about something, and it's kind of got you into a situation that you don't know how to get out of now. So let's see why the Five of Earth is here. We have a King of Wands twice, and both times they're in reverse, Aries. That doesn't bode particularly well for kind of knowing when to stop, knowing when enough's enough, knowing when to draw back, when to hold back, when to... So it could be that you've completely I just get this sense that it could be that you've kind of got completely frustrated with something, and you've said things that maybe you regret saying, or that you shouldn't have said, or that your anger got the better of you. What we have down here. Squeaky chair. I will apologise about my squeaky chair. I'm sorry about that. I do need to get another chair. Okay, over the top of the Five of Earth here, we have the Four of Coins, which is up the right way. So this is saying to me there's something here somebody doesn't want to let go of. It's a situation where somebody's determined to hold on to it, which is what I'm feeling with this energy here as well, kind of trying to resurrect something. Somebody's determined here. They're not going to let go. There could also have been a sense of jealousy as well here, that somebody may have got jealous. It could have something to do, again, business or a personal relationship, that there has been a sense of maybe you felt as though you were in the background here. There could also be, for some of you Arians out there, a situation of jealousy where you've kind of blown up about it, and now it's kind of working against you. Kind of blown up in your face, and now you're kind of having to deal with the consequences and the fallout of it. Because we do have the Temperance card in reverse, which is all about, pardon me, sorry, about relationships that are not flowing. So I would say at this time, and for a while maybe, there has been lack of communication here. Somebody has kind of closed off. Somebody here is closed off, but they're also trying to really hold on to something, but they don't know what to do next. This could be your energy, Aries. This could be somebody that you're dealing with. It doesn't have to be your energy, but because there's so much fire, it kind of points to your energy, but you could also be dealing with a fire sign as well, Aries. So, and it has got this card here of the Lovers, and this is the energy that's moving away, that's been around for a while. And the Lovers is about the person that we choose, that kind of reflects the sides of ourselves. And it can depict third party as well, because there are 3 goddesses here. But each of these goddesses represent a different aspect of women, of woman, female qualities. You've got Hera here, who is the kind of nurturing, motherly, loving energy. You've got Athena, who is more your kind of strategic, warrior-esque, activist type of female, shall we say. Somebody who kind of wants to stand up for other people and other people's rights. Probably the feminist. Probably one of the best ways to put Athena. She would probably be seen as quite a strong feminist energy. Whereas Aphrodite in the middle here, of course, is all about the sensuality and the passion and the love, and you know, often in this particular card, Paris has to choose out of these three as to which one is the most beautiful, and it turns out that he chooses Aphrodite, which is often the way, especially when men are younger, not as mature, haven't got as much wisdom. So there could be aspects of the fact that you have chosen somebody else over maybe somebody who you were in a relationship with, Aries. Or somebody could have done this to you as well. It doesn't have to be female energy. It's just kind of representing those qualities of female. It can be just the same as men. You can get very nurturing, caring men just as much as you can get men who are very kind of much more strategically. Basically, they represent the mind. They are like the, you know, the swords, the pentacles, and the cups energy here. The only energy that's actually missing is the fire energy. So they represent those different elements and aspects. And I'm feeling here, Aries, as though there's a strong possibility for some of you that you had something that was good, but you blew it. Or you did something maybe that was not a good choice. Temptation maybe putting you away. We'll see what comes out. Underneath in your subconscious you have the Eight of Pentacles twice. Once in reverse and once up right way. So this says to me here that you're wanting to work on something, you're wanting to make something right, you're wanting to like rework something. That's how it feels, like rework on something. Like all of these I feel relate also to these cups in the sense of these are all past situations. Things that you've kind of maybe approaches that you've made already, Aries, to this person. Again, this could be business. Again, this does not have to be just a relationship. But the Eight of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles kind of have a similar energy for me today, especially seeing as they've come out together. Both in the subconscious, and we have the Queen of Cups here as well in the lower subconscious energy, and she literally represents that kind of energy, that feeling sensitive world, that kind of knowing. She's a highly intuitive energy, highly intuitive. She knows things that you wouldn't even know that she was aware of. She doesn't necessarily speak about them either, the Queen of Cups. She may well just keep things to herself until the time is right. A strong sense of kind of, again, the water elements. It can be Scorpio, it can be Pisces, it can be Cancer energy. But they're all the deeper watery realm energy of the intuition, the instincts, the knowing something. And it could be that this person knew something. They knew that there was something happening, possibly behind their back, particularly with this energy here. Or it could be that you yourself have got strong instincts, Aries, and felt it. Felt something was not right. But I somehow feel that this is not so much about your energy. I think your energy is the fiery energy, whereas I think this energy is the other person. Again, it could be business related. It doesn't have to be an intimate relationship. For some of you it will be, for others it won't. And this is just a general read, like I said, so it's not going to resonate with everybody. We also have the Six of Cups here as well. So there is this kind of energy of melancholy, of things kind of being reflected on. And it says to me again that things haven't worked out in this situation. Something that you thought was going to work out has not worked out. And you also have the Sun in reverse as well. So that's a sign of like non-victory, non-success, of not seeing things clearly. And I just again get that energy, that feeling of you kind of not seeing the warning signs about something that had you looked closely you would have seen. But you were kind of driven, and I feel you were kind of passionately driven by something that may not have been in the long term the right thing, the right situation or experience. And I think that's what's changed as well. When I was saying earlier, something has changed, and I think that's what it is. The dynamic has changed, the energy's changed. Somebody, I feel, has cheated on somebody else here. Again, it could be business, or it could be intimate. It could also be family related or friends related. You have this Three of Wands here, which for me is about taking a risk. And the Empress energy here as well. So this energy is about something that's very I'm getting the feeling that this is about, again I get the feeling of this being about a business. Like I was saying here about you not wanting to let go of something. Also with this Four that came out here as well, this energy of not wanting to let go of something. You want to work on something, you want to rework something here with these two Eight of Pentacles. You're willing to put the time and the energy and the effort into this. And you were, I feel, putting the time, the energy and the effort into it. And maybe you felt as though you weren't being appreciated as well. There could be qualities or, of that there as well. There could be feelings here that you weren't being appreciated, that you were kind of blending into the background, that you weren't being seen or taken seriously or valued enough as well. But this is saying to me that there's still something here. There is still something here. With this Three of Wands being a risk, it does mean that you know, Aries, on some level, that this is not going to be easy. That this is kind of taking slow steps back to the beginning, if you like. It's like having to rebirth this situation, because the Empress talks to me about permanently pregnant with potential. If you see here, she's kind of clutching her belly and she looks like she's pregnant because she represents Mother Earth. So she represents that creative drive and energy that is always there within the kind of womb of the earth. And the fact that the earth kind of is constantly growing and nurturing and nature. She is Mother Nature in her full glory. And she also represents, as a female energy, she would represent somebody who to you is perfect in every way. Aries, this energy. It's that she ticks all those boxes. She is all of the queens rolled into one. She's everything. Again, it doesn't have to be a female. It can be it can represent a man just as much as it can represent a woman, but this is basically the energy that it's saying that it represents. And also this energy here as well does not have to be a man. This king fire energy, as well as all the kings in fact, and the queens, can also be reversed. So I feel as well somehow that there's a battle going on here as well. There's a battle between the head and the heart energy here. Because this represents the kind of head, strong energy of the Aries, kind of, like I was saying, you know, you full steam ahead before you kind of stop and think. And it's only afterwards, in fact, that you stop and think. It's like when the deed is done, it's too late. But that's when you will think about it. That's when you'll suddenly realise that you have taken that step too far. So there is, I feel, a kind of, is it like redemption, kind of like I was saying, that somebody wants to kind of reignite the passion here, or kind of, again, I get the feeling of somebody not wanting to let this go, which I think is very much reflected in that Four of Pentacles down here as well. And also with these three cards together. Whoops, just let me pick these up. These three together as well, this kind of Iris, rainbow, the goddess of the rainbow, who only ever exists within relationships. But when it's in reverse, it's talking about things being blocked and stagnating, that there's no flow. And in order for there to be a relationship, there has to be flow. There has to be give and take. There has to be communication. And communication also involves listening to the other person just as much as speaking. But there is an element here saying that this can be, I feel, rebirthed, because there is this risk. You know it's a risk. But he is offering like his kingdom, I suppose, in many ways to this character here. The crown for me represents the kingdom. It kind of represents everything that you have. It's like you are giving everything to this person, and maybe you haven't done that before, Aries. Maybe you've always held back here. Maybe you haven't been completely aware of how deep your feelings went as well until now. And again, sometimes it's only when we have these adverse situations that we realise the truth of something. And you've got two fives here, both adverse energies. Fives always work in adversity, so it's like it's something that works against you, but ultimately it can be in your benefit, but it just doesn't seem so at the time when you're going through that situation. So let's quickly see what the Moonology cards have to say about this situation, and then I will move on to the Namaste Blessing card, and lastly I will read a Crystal Deva card as well, both of which I have already pulled to save time. So a Moonology card please for Aries, Sun, Moon, Venus, Rising, Cusp, Aries. What is the outcome here for Aries in this situation? What is the best advice of the Moon Wisdom cards? You have the new moon in Taurus, and it says prosperity lies ahead. So this could reflect prosperity as in abundance, as in, which also this card here can be as well, a very abundant card, a card of like fertility, and it could be starting a family, Aries, as well. Some of you may be starting a family. But it's talking about prosperity in the sense of good times, feeling good, abundance, having what you need, having what you want. So the Namaste blessing card that you got here, which for me is a kind of reflective energy. It's almost like you can see the tree reflected twice there. And I feel as though this is what's happening at this moment with these Eight of Cups as well, this kind of reflective energy. Going down into the kind of underworld of things here. But the card itself is called Blessed Tranquility. And it says your feelings are surfacing in order to be healed. So I was saying earlier about this card here, that there is a cathartic element within this. There is a healing process that's taking place. Again, it's working through adversity because it may not feel like it at this time. Have faith and know that you are safe. Trust the current waves of emotion shall become a sea of tranquility, full of love and blessings. So you have the King, you have the Six, you have the Queen here, and you have the Eight of Water. All these cards here are kind of reflecting all that emotion. All that emotion that you're having to experience. And for me as well, with Mars in Pisces, I think it's very much a period of time when you are going to be feeling this. You're going to have to kind of release a lot of your emotional baggage in many ways in order to be able to move forward into something much more prosperous and abundant for you. So lastly, we have this card here, the Bloodstone card, which is the card of the root energy and the heart energy. So the root energy is kind of our connection to the planet as well. It's how we feel about survival and scarcity and our connection to everything. And the green of the heart energy as well. You can see it's got both green. It looks more black than it does green, but it is supposed to be green, very dark green. So it says life force. The fountain of unlimited potential is sparked when a female and male make love. Technically, you may argue, it is not the act of making love, but the act of sex that creates life. We understand your logic. However, in truth, the ignition of life force into matter is always generated by love, even if the circumstances involving the two personalities seem void of caring or occur in a cruel way. The great creator is always present when a new soul chooses to come into being. This new awakening is the most sacred and love-filled of acts. If you are a parent, look upon your child and see the miracle of beauty and goodness there. Look at yourself and see the same exquisite creation. Life force is more than pure energy or physical matter. Life force is a spirit-filled essence that exists in every creature. Envision it flowing in every rock, tree, animal and human on the planet, which I kind of think relates to this energy here. It is an essential part of every entity. If you broke a rock or sawed a tree and red blood oozed from its wounds, you would experience a feeling of kinship. These life forms must be like you would reason, because they have the same lifeblood. Because you share a commonality, you would probably feel more empathy and respect toward them. We assure you, even though the blood of some creatures is not red, the lifeblood or life force in all of us is the same. With the activation of life force that initiated your existence, you were filled with potential. Potential is the unbridled dynamo of possible creativity. When you come into being, your capacity for ingenuity and resourcefulness is unlimited. For better or worse, potential is influenced all along the way by external forces. The river's course will leave a town intact or cover it with floodwaters. Rain nourishes the trees, or a drought extinguishes their light. In the human and animal kingdoms, your potential is affected by the encouragement or discouragement given you by the significant others in your lives. In recent years, it has also been documented that the plant kingdom grows more rapidly with positive reinforcement. If you have been beaten down, either physically or emotionally, it is critical to neutralize the effects of these negative acts. This is accomplished by understanding that what others have done does not reflect on your worth or your potential. They are simply working out their own melodramas that unfortunately have involved you. You are a precious and priceless universal gemstone. Once you truly believe that others will lose their power over you. Knowing who you really are, nothing anyone says or does can hurt you because you know the truth. The recognition of self can change a life in an instant. Before you were there, and now you are here. Here is the centre of your being, the wellspring of potential. Life force starts your life and keeps you going, but it is so much more than fuel. Throughout your life, it sustains and supports you on emotional and spiritual levels as well. It invests itself in your optimal perpetration. Why is it so interested in your single existence? Because while you are alive, you have the potential for changing the world through your love and contributions. Life force makes this possible. In ancient times, the womb was revered as the fertile ground in which a new soul evolves. Pregnancy is a time of preparation for the new being to make its transition from spirit to flesh. When new babies are born, they still remember their time spent on the spiritual plane and their reason for coming into a physical form. The more that they are encouraged while inside the womb by talking, singing, or sending love to them, the easier the transition, and the more they will be able to realise their potential. Why have you drawn the card of potential today? Are you unsure what your potential is? Are you beginning to investigate in which areas your potential may lie, or do you already know what you need to be doing but are not quite there yet? Perhaps you are ready to use your talents that are looking for the right place. However you decide to express your gifts, we encourage you to do so thoughtfully, responsibly, and joyfully. The universe is hoping that you will make the most of your potential for the good of us all. Feel the life force within you, awakening you to greatness. So Aries, it's kind of saying to me that you are full of potential. You may not realise it at this moment in time. You may not feel as though you have any potential at all, because I'm feeling that you've got this kind of rather flat energy of things just being like that, rather than like that. So this card, I feel, is going to play a big part in your coming future. I don't usually pick a card out, but this card was kind of calling out to me, and it was calling out to me throughout that kind of reading of the potential that is there. So for some of you, it may also be about kind of starting out a family as well, that maybe you thought that that wasn't going to happen with this person. So I'm going to leave the reading here and just also say that potential also is about this energy here as well, this manifestation energy. Because this is also full of potential. So I think that manifestation and potential are particularly strong in this reading for you today, Aries. But I am going to leave the reading there and say thank you very much for anybody who has watched it. Also, thank you very much to all of you who have subscribed to my channel so far. I really do appreciate it. Please could you like it up, thumbs it for me as it gets it out into the bigger YouTube world of algorithms. That's why us YouTubers are constantly saying please, please, please thumbs up our videos, because then it gets out there, more people see it, because that's how YouTube works. More people come back to my channel, hopefully they will also watch my videos and subscribe. And if you have subscribed and you want to get more of my videos, tap the bell also so that you will be able to know when they are being released. And I think that's everything. Also, you can share this video as well if you feel that it may be of benefit to somebody else who you know, if you feel that the message resonates not only for yourself but for somebody else. Please feel free to share it. And take very good care of yourselves, Aries, and also in these very difficult times, please take care of anybody else who you are able to. And I will see you hopefully again next time.